The four approaches of leadership that I will mention later on in this video is from the textbook called Leadership Theory and Practice, 7th edition by Peter G. Northouse. My personal brand is I am kind, trustworthy, assertive, strategic, and most importantly, determined. I attended Brookdale Community College from 2014 to 2016 and earned an associate's in arts. Then I transferred to Monmouth University in 2017. There, I am presently majoring in secondary education and history, along with earning an endorsement in special education. I am currently student teaching at Bayshore Middle School in Middletown, New Jersey, in a 6th grade social studies class. After I finish my student teaching, I will be graduating Monmouth in 2020. When I'm trying to complete a task, I try to be as strategic as possible so I would not make a conflict worse than it has to be. One time at Outback, I had so much to do, including getting drinks, printing out bills, taking orders, and bringing an undercooked steak back. So, I used Kat's 3-skilled approach to exhibit my problem-solving skills. That would show an example of what other servers should be doing in the event everything happens all at once. I used human skills to apologize to the customer on the behalf of Outback, and that I would take care of it and ask other servers for help on small tasks. I use technical skills when I need to plan ahead while multitasking on taking orders and printing out checks. I do not need to use a lot of conceptual skills since I work there as a server. Thus, I do not require much creative thinking. But I do need to use strategic thinking on the timing that I should get everything done with each and every one of my customers. A challenge that I have recently faced and overcome was when I was teaching about ancient Egypt in Bayshore Middle School. And the first class that I taught was confused with an activity because they were sitting row by row. Therefore, they weren't able to work together with their classmates. So therefore, I've reflected upon that mistake and I put my next 3 classes of students into groups of 3 to 4. So therefore, they were not only able to work together, but also just complete the assignment with less chaos and confusion. My greatest strength is my determination. And an example has occurred last spring when I took science. And I struggled with that because I got a 71 on my first test. So I had to study much more, take better notes, and go for extra help. Therefore, on the future tests, I have improved and I have gotten a grade that I was happy with. My greatest weakness is the fact that I overthink a lot, but I do not let it succumb me, and that's where my determination kicks in. The first is behavioral leadership, which will work on students who are frequently defiant because the teacher needs to respect all students as human beings while being strict and having high expectations for them. So I will try to set a behavioral plan by having a positive reinforcement in place in the event the student improves their behavior. The second is the path goal theory, which will work on lesson planning and thinking how to generate student interest in a subject. When I taught about physical geography of Egypt recently, I began with a video of an aerial view of Cairo. I narrated what they were seeing and told them what to think about, including what might have these structures been during ancient Egypt. I did that because my 6th grade students never study Egypt, and if they are interested in the material, then they are motivated to participate in the lesson. Directive leadership is implemented when I give instructions on an assignment and how it was to be done. In order for that to be successful, I need to explain these instructions as clearly as I could, including what the lines on the blank map of Egypt represents. Participative leadership comes in when there is a class discussion about Egypt, or I need to explain something to the students to clear up any confusion on an assignment. I use supportive leadership when a student needs help in the form of repeating of instructions, a new blank map if they messed up, or just asking students on how they are doing with the assignment. Finally, I always use achievement-oriented leadership by having high expectations from my students. Sixth graders need to be taught on how to figure things out for themselves. For example, when students ask me questions that they can answer themselves, I have them reread a part of the instructions of the Ancient Egypt Map activity so they can identify the key words. Therefore, the key words are the answers on what they are expected to do. When students are in my classroom, I would like for them to become better versions of themselves by the end of the school year. This is where I will implement transformational leadership. I tend to be assertive and ethical when I'm teaching social studies. I plan to become a strong role model for my students, and I would like for them to learn what hard work means and develop determination. In return, I plan to earn the respect of my students and their trust in me to teach as much about history and the world today as possible. My questions for you are: what are the district policies that I need to abide by? How else can I be part of the school community? And what are your philosophies of teaching?